So you might be wondering, Mike, why are you wearing that silly little mask? And why does your voice sound so silly? Well, in Japan, anytime you catch a cold, people put on these silly little masks so that they don't spread their silly little colds to everyone around them. So yeah, I woke up this morning and I had the most skull-splitting headache you can possibly imagine. And it's just been coming and going all day. And I just can't get over this like nasal congestion. I kind of feel like that one zombie from that movie, what is it called, Return of the Living Dead or something like that? Where, if you remember that movie, there's a scene where the zombie breaks in to the morgue or whatever they're trying to hold out in. And so they drag this zombie in, and they put her on the cutting table, right? And she's already cut in half. And they start asking her all these questions, like, why do you want to eat us? And she's like, it hurts to be dead. Brains make the pain go away. That's kind of how I feel like right now. I need brains to make this pain go away. I'm going to take off this silly mask. It makes me say silly things. Anyway, so that's been my day. There was a earthquake that happened earlier today. Some of you may know already. It was a really big earthquake in Sendai. Well, I guess people felt it all over Japan, but I think it was especially big in Sendai. And I was on the 9th floor of the science building, and that's on top of a mountain, so it was shaking quite a bit, probably a lot more so than if I had been on the ground floor. And it's the biggest earthquake I've felt since I've been back to Japan. And the earthquake made me realize that I really fucking hate earthquakes. Some of you may know, if you've watched my older videos, that I was here in Sendai on March 11th during the big earthquake that hit. And that's probably something I'll never experience again, but this earthquake started out in such a way that it felt exactly like the earthquake on March 11th. And I knew that it wasn't going to be as strong as the old one, but in the back of my mind I couldn't help but think that, it could escalate to be like the one on March 11th, and luckily it didn't. But it was almost identical to the one that happened on March 11th at, the beginning of it. The way it kind of started out a little bit and then got stronger as it went. I even remember going home after that earthquake. I don't know if I hate earthquakes because that one big earthquake traumatized me or something. In fact, I remember going home back to America, my home state, Indiana. There are absolutely no earthquakes in Indiana. There's maybe, I think my entire life, we've only had one teeny tiny earthquake. And you barely even noticed it, didn't even realize it was an earthquake until you turned on the news. But regardless, when I went home, there were so many aftershocks after that big earthquake that you almost got used to it. You almost expected them. So when I went home to Indiana, where there were no earthquakes, any tiny little shake, any tiny little vibration, I immediately tensed up and thought it was an earthquake. And of course that's silly because there aren't earthquakes in Indiana. But I had just gotten so used to it, and like my palms would get sweaty and I'd get nervous because I think there was going to be an earthquake coming for whatever reason. So yeah, I guess ever since then I've been kind of jumpy around unexplained vibrations or loud, I guess very heavy thuds or whatever you want to call it. I remember actually as recently as fall semester last winter, I was sitting in my physics class at Purdue, and they were doing construction on the building outside, and they must have dropped like a steel beam or something, and it made a pretty big vibration in the floor and shook the floor, and that just like freaked me out. I immediately tensed up because I thought there might be an earthquake. So yeah, that's a bit of an update. Sick in an earthquake, hell of a day. Tomorrow, this is probably too late, but tomorrow there's a meetup in Osaka by a couple YouTubers. Kansai Gaijin and Ron in Japan are organizing it. And I'll put a link in the description to the event page on Facebook, so if you're in that area you can go visit. Unfortunately I can't make it. Definitely please go check it out. Ron, Kansai Gaijin, sorry I couldn't make it this time, but I've already talked with both of you, so I'm planning on coming down to Kansai at some point, hopefully over winter break. So that's it for today, guys. Just wanted to let you know I'm still alive. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys later.